Why the hell not? That's my theme for today. You wanna... Why the hell not? That's my theme for today. You wanna...
What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. Hope you guys are ready to go. We got AJ in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Albert, Amy, Andy, Bill, Cindy. Emily's in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to John, Keith, Kevin, Lauren, Lucian. We got Michael in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Tim. All my people out in YouTube land. Put the Chevy to the levee. Levy's the first one in there in YouTube. Gold star today. Unbelievable. Good morning to you. We got Tim now. Good morning to you, Sabine. Good morning, all my larkers on YouTube. They're just not going to say nothing. It's okay. Hit that like and subscribe button. Tim says, FOMOers versus profit takers. Yeah, we're getting in that zone. We've probably been in that zone. And like I said, the report that I read last week, I think it was like Thursday last week, Friday last week. There was 1.7 trillion dollars of money just sitting in money market accounts, which is historically the highest level it's ever been. So if you think we just hit the all-time highs and then we die, I mean, we'll see what the headlines are. We'll see if there's I mean, there's some news reports coming out that maybe we only really set Iran back 2 to 3 weeks from building nukes. The damage maybe wasn't, but then there's other reports that it was complete destruction and it's going to be 10 years or decades before. So we don't know. We'll see how things still develop. But that tells me there's a lot of room for, I mean, maybe you get the FOMOers coming in, but there's some room for at least the buy the dippers to step in. So we'll see what happens. But really, really strong gap. Let's take a look at another gap that looks similar. Well, you have a little bit of a pivot down here. This is going back to like May 8th. You had that nice little gap up. You did have a few days of kind of running. We ran into some kind of resistance. We pulled back, slight candle under, another gap up. Started to run again. What do we get here? Beautiful looking gap above pivot. So the same thing over and over and over again. So not too bad. Still looks like we're trending higher. The market wants higher. The next level that I'm looking at is we'll call it 609. Let's see if I can get like more specific. 609.15. We'll see what we do there. But with the momentum, I think today or this week, we're probably breaking that, I would assume. I got another really big level at 610.10. And then a absolute monster level, which is going to be 612.33. If we're getting any closing above it, you might as well just check off the box that we hit all-time highs again for this year. So when was the last time? February. Okay. Okay, we'll see. Today is a retest gap. So again, I think the market's bullish. I'm bullish. Figuring out how to get into these things after now your third. This would be after 2 days of being bid up, retest gap. If we drop a little bit, if we pull back a little bit, somewhere around 607.40. Let me see if we got there at all pre-market, at least on trading views. What do we say? 607, something to that effect. Yep. We kind of did hit that little support yesterday. We're now starting to break the current VPOC as well. We have all of our volume. We're above it. Yeah, I think we're looking pretty strong. Again, still maybe want to give this market a minute or two out of the gate. Although yesterday I did try to give the markets on pretty much all the stocks. We made that little list we like in the morning from you guys throwing out some tickers. Every single one of them just opened and ran. So I don't know if that's going to be the case today as well. But I think you have this gap was at least breaking a pivot, so maybe it's more of an incentive for bulls to hop in. Now I think you have resistance not too far away, probably a little pullback. So we'll see if we can get down to that 607.29. But otherwise, it's a scramble to figure out how to get into things bullish at this point. Q's Q's opening at all-time highs. You got to pump it up, and don't you know, pump it up. Whew, that's a wild open. Well, I've got no targets to the higher side. I don't know. Higher, at least in the future. Again, retest gap. Everybody who's ever purchased shares of the Qs, you are profitable today. So congratulations. Even if it came at the very high of yesterday's candle, you were still making money this morning. Yeah, that's a good open. Again, can we get a retest? Of course. There's, like I said, maybe somebody wants to take some gains. I don't know. But if you get that pullback, look for really good support around 540.07. That's what I'm going to be watching for in the future as well. So if we do end up closing this gap, whether today, tomorrow, that should be your next really strong buy spot. But you are taking out everything at this point. Tech should be on fire today. Look for some tech names to continue to run. Speaking of that, well, before we get to AMD, because I see that in the chat, let's take a look at Bitcoin, BTCUSD. Uh, Bitcoin is recovering. So we are now above 107. I think the number was like 107,500 though, if I'm not mistaken. So you have a little bit of resistance. Yeah, 107,730-ish. But you had a pretty key level somewhere around this 106,983. The fact we're above that, if we could close above it, it looks like probably more upside into some of these resistance, and then we'll see if we can take that out. But for today, look for like probably somewhere around this 107,813 for a little resistance. Otherwise, next stop 108,650, and then a big level 109,577. So it's trying to hang in there. You still technically are making the lower highs, lower lows. So we'll see if this one can finally get a new higher high, and then off to Das Moon with Bitcoin. AMD has been active finally yesterday after 4 days of consolidation. 4 days of me like, yeah, no, this looks like a good gap up today, and then it did nothing and closed red. Okay, this looks like a good gap up today, and it does nothing, closed red. So just 4 days of consolidation. We finally got an open that did not close red yesterday, and somewhere around this 140 zone, I have the next big target, I think, somewhere around 142.32. So we'll see if that holds. This is a retest gap. You are opening into a little bit of resistance over here, slightly above. Watch 140.45. If we open lower than that, then I'm feeling a little bit more confident in that pullback. Otherwise, you might see a couple candles that might maybe turn into a bull trap. But you got 142.15 higher, and then you got 143.39. So we'll see how this one wants to play out. I don't even know if we fully retest the VPOC. Let's see. If you get down to 137.26, that's a decent buy spot. I don't know that we get there. It looks like some decent VPOCs somewhere even to the close of yesterday. So 138.47. We'll see how this plays out. But pretty good sized candle. The momentum is there today. It's very difficult to go bullish at open on AMD, I think. I don't know if I want to play the fade, but there is some room to that fade. There is a little bit of room. We'll get this one up here. We'll watch it. We'll see if there's any interesting daily candles, and if I can figure out how to get in there bullish, especially the closer to 137.26 as possible, the better. Otherwise, yeah, right now looks still decently bullish. We got Coinbase. I also see PayPal. I missed a couple on the way. Okay, PayPal and Oclo as well. Coinbase, nice gap up as well. That is clearing some monster pivots. Are we at not at all-time highs yet? We're even above. We're not above the pivot, but we are above the VPOCs for those days. That looks strong. Huge retest gap, but I would not be shocked if this thing opens and runs as well. Maybe look for some pre-market breakout. Still got 20 minutes till this market opens. That's a lot of running into this. They're not gonna make that easy. I don't know. Really, really good gap though. I don't know how to. I don't know how to. I mean, I obviously we could probably set some kind of trade, try to get in like 360, 374 on a breakout. I don't think I can figure out how to get into this thing without feeling like I am just overpaying on Coinbase at this point. I feel like I'm probably paying way too much without any type of retest. But all of this volume is well below us at this point. I got no other real volume. Let's go to a weekly chart, see if there's anything up there. We don't even have it on the weeklies. Weekly chart looks like an insane looking longer term inverted head and shoulders. So if we think this run is done, no, we could probably we broke the neckline. Yeah, no, this thing looks like it probably has another mile and a half in it. But buy the dips, buy the pullbacks, or just opens and runs. I don't know, but I feel dirty buying that there. But it looks like it's got some more room, and we're gonna need some kind of I'm gonna need some kind of pullback on that one as well. We got PayPal. PayPal looks decent. It's okay. You still have the bigger spot and $75 on the way up when we were sitting at when I was buying it for like the long term around this $60 level, 56, something like that. I think I even got some at like 52 at some point. But I was looking at 85 was a big resistance, and then the resistance after that comes into like the $90 handle. So we do see that that did happen. So we did hit the resistance over here. We got up to that 90. We formed that double top. We pulled all the way back down. So this is a little bit of a shaky area. We do also have very similar to Coinbase. I like this. Well, the other one was on a weekly chart, but this one is a little bit of a pretty decent inverted head and shoulders on this one. If we could break out of that $75 range, I think it throws us back into the 90s. And if we get back there, that's probably going to be a little pullback spot, and then that's your chance to kind of go further. So we'll see how this plays out. I think it looks good, especially on a swing trade basis. We will have to be cautious of that $75 zone. It is also retest gap today. You also have a little bit of resistance today, 74.69. I'll go high with candle on PayPal. We could attempt a PayPal trade today. Swing trade looks good though. Swing trade, maybe some little bit out of there's no volume coming in. You might even on some if you get a pullback, you might even want some options a little bit further out in time. Next next stop is about 77.90. Hesitate there for a little bit and then break through it. Next volume from there, yeah, takes us into this 86 to 90 zone. So but that looks like an interesting little bit of inverted head and shoulders on PayPal. Again, it just if everything's gapping up after a day that we just put in yesterday, that makes things a little sticky at open, but how you get into it is completely up to you. We got Aklo. Good gap up on Aklo. Again, into a little bit of resistance at open. If we do break that through that resistance, you got 64.43, and then we have like 68.39. I think there was some news. I don't know if it was Aklo specific. Aklo announces strategic collaborations with Hexium and TerraPower. So a little bit of news on that one. Again, good gap and go from yesterday. Pretty decent close at the first resistance. Let's see if this one, if we get a pullback, look for like 61, 62. Obviously, momentum stock. I don't think they make any money. I'm pretty positive. I think if I got a job as a Walmart greeter, I might make more money than the entire company of Aklo. Pretty positive. But yeah, not bad. Again, retest gap. Very interesting location though on open. Just I want to see this thing open above 63.17. So it's got to go a little bit higher. And then I would be a little concerned with some of the resistance coming in. Once this thing starts to break out of 68.73, she gone. She's gonna run. TTD. Really good candle yesterday. Looks like another retest gap. A lot of retest gaps today after the day like yesterday. And why do I feel like everybody's a little bit like the market just told everybody we're going to all-time highs? Like it looked like we were going to all-time highs a while ago, but now people are a little more convinced because we're closer. Wild how that works. Uh, it would make sense that there's a lot of excitement for today's open of like, yeah, we're gonna do it today, and then we get that pullback. Not massive pullback, but just enough for a retest gap. And then everyone starts going, okay, yeah, no, never mind, we're not doing it. And then tomorrow you get that really beautiful looking gap and go again. Market seems to do that sometimes. TDD's got some more room to the higher side, so watch for 73.35, watch for 73.63. That would be a fairly big one. Anything past that one, next level, you're starting to get into that 100, which you do have some V pockets very close to it, somewhere around 74.37. But again, 2 days of buying, pretty decent candle yesterday after a good consolidation. I think TTD goes higher from here. I think that is a good breakout candle, but I think I'd only really want to get back into this thing at 71.95, essentially at yesterday's close, if we could get that little bit of a pullback for TTD. Maybe another decent play for options, with some time on it, or even shares with a good stop. You're going to want your stop probably around 66.50, something like that. Maybe a little higher, 66.70. But yeah, not bad. Lulu. I think Lulu was gapping up today too, if I'm not mistaken. Slight gap up. Really good hammer. Right off that 220 mark. The low of that hammer was 220.24. Not bad there. I think it's the weekly volume on this one. Yeah, you got a little bit of weekly volume. Nothing too crazy. The bigger spot for targets, if you get all the way back into the 317.60 zone, and that is about a $70 move, $80 move just to hit that next weekly resistance. So we have a lot of room on that one. The daily is a little bit closer, 262.55. Probably be targeting that one first. Um, Again, still a retest gap, maybe a small pullback, maybe a high wave candle in this one. You will have this one might actually give us a good high wave candle. Might be a little spready, so watch the spread on this one. But we'll get that up there. If this one pulls back, starts to hold this 232.98 zone, I like it. I think that's a good opportunity to try to get into it. Otherwise, your next resistance is 235.59, and then a big resistance is somewhere around this 240 mark. Probably slightly under 240, 239.84-ish. But that's still $6 to the higher side from here. And again, really good break of a downtrend, very strong downtrend. I would imagine there's going to be some kind of double bottom in this thing as opposed to just a V-shaped recovery out to the 260 and the 317 marks. But yeah, very interesting. I do want this thing lower. Come on, another week. Give me another week. Another week of just low numbers on Lulu. But I'm already in it. I did pick up some more this month. I just want some extra next week. We got NVDA. Is that gapping to all-time highs? Not quite. Big resistance, 151.25. It looks like it does want that. Probably looking to break that and hit all-time highs on NVIDIA. Other than that, really good gap up. It's still a retest gap. I think you have to, man, I hate waiting, but that's the better key. You got 147.44 if you get some kind of a pullback. Really good consolidation. It's not like it actually kind of consolidating kind of how the AMD chart was looking a little bit, but good breakout candle here. Again, it's just very high for me to want to buy this thing, but shorting seems like a difficult task in this market. So, uh, yeah, let me see if there's any volume zones. I've got no volume really to hold me back from much higher pricing. If you're in NVIDIA, it looks good. Probably at open, maybe look for a lot of things to sell some covered calls at these very close, if not all-time high levels with retest gaps on them. So if you're holding shares, probably best bet sell some covered calls at open. Google has been on a struggle bus. Google, big struggle bus with some real concerns. AI, AI cutting into their searching, which essentially cuts into their revenue streams. So a little bit of actual concerns to something like Google. Apple just been kind of sitting sideways. I think most of the Mag 7 or at least the big tech companies are very, very close to all-time highs. Except for I think the three are Google, Apple, and Tesla. So maybe there's a catch-up trade in here. I think Google over the long time term probably fine. But yeah, that's good hammer. More volume came on this candle. I would think you have bigger resistance somewhere around 169.08 if you can get up there. So I don't know how much room there is today. A little bit of a gap and go. Yesterday was a failed gap and go. Let's see if this is still inside day of yesterday. I think even though it's gap and go, knowing that the resistance is not too far away, anything above 169.08, then I can start getting a little bit more bullish and seeing if we get back into like the 173 zones. But for day trade, let's see if we can get at least a pullback to 167.50, and then target for me is 168.99. So probably not too much room, but it has to, and we have a big uptrend break on this one as well. So just be careful of that one zone. It does still look like it's on a struggle bus a little bit. Doesn't look as crazy as other stocks, but if you want to, maybe if you want to even take a swing on it, you're looking for some kind of entry, I guess right around that 162.72 zone. And then if you want to take a stab at it, you're looking for stops underneath that hammer. I don't know. I don't feel too confident on the trade, but if you could get in at that price, worst case you're risking or you are holding a very key volume zone 164.91. So that's pretty good. But your first sign is like if we could get any closing past 169.14-ish, somewhere in that zone, that would be like, okay, this trade might work, and maybe we could at least get up to this 175.38 zone. But a little bit of a struggle bus still for that one. A lot of you guys are saying Tessie. What happened, Tessie? Tessie, I think they had some UK numbers that came out where it looks like sales declining again. Not news. But let's wipe out all the news for a second. Let's pretend there was no news and we just have charts. I was saying yesterday, and I'm in this one. I picked up some calls, kind of right at the low of yesterday, pretty close to it, the 340 zone. So I'm still in those calls. I have time on it just in case. On a technical basis of things, I was looking for 338 to really start to buy some calls. So maybe we get back down there today, but we did hit 338 last night. 338.11. So we do have a double bottom at the zone that I was really looking all day to see if we could get down and buy. That was like, okay, if we get down to 338, I'm going to add more. I saw a good consolidation here, so I was like, okay, it's not exactly the price, but they wouldn't have let me get the 338 anyway. So not bad on Tessie. At realistically, so now we've come in, we've hit the support, we threw a double bottom there. We have some type of VPOC from yesterday, 342.82. We're opening above it. That looks pretty good. And essentially all yesterday was, even though the rest of the market was ripping and Tessie was kind of dropping, this is a big move. So we've already put in a huge move before the market did. The market now starts to run. All these guys here profitable from the day, and you're probably getting some selling. I think this is a retest gap. It did fall a little bit lower than the VPOC, 351.25. That's going to be my next spot of resistance. Otherwise, if we get a close above it, I think it looks good. Um, and then again, my next real actual big target on this one to the higher side, somewhere around 362. So I think there's some room on it. I do like the opening price. I would love to get my stops below 338 for today if you're going to take it, but we might have to do 338 if we're buying it even at the VPOC. That's, let's call it 343. So that's about a $5 stop, which means for 2 Rs we need $10. It's very close to the next VPOC. So the lower we could buy it, but I'm willing to buy this dip up today. Again, maybe just another inside day and we chill, especially if the market falls. But great breakout day, good retrace gap, and I think you needed this retest almost 50% of the entire move. Very interesting spot to buy, and I think we continue that uptrend from here. But doesn't mean we can't have another day of 1 or 2 days of just inside day, and then you get your kind of break. They'll do the AMD to me. They'll give me 4 days in a row of red candles going higher and higher, and then eventually you get that breakout. We'll see snow, but yeah, I'm willing to go pretty quickly on Tessie today, I think. Snowflake is looking great. Let's see the next resistance on snow. You probably got a lot of people gunning for this 231.42. Gives us room to the higher side. Be careful on Snowflake. It is a tricky day trade stock. It just sometimes will oversell, and then by the end of the day, you're like, okay, it's right back to where I thought the target should be. So if it helps inside day, it is a retest gap. Maybe again, don't be the first one to buy it. It does look good, but the closer I think you get to this 221.80 mark, I'll throw a little alert there just so I have it. But other than that, not a lot of volume holding you back up until I guess volume starts to creep in around 226.19 and 226.67. So that would only give us $2 to the higher side for today. But if we could get in closer to 221-ish, that would give us about $5, which would be nice. Reddit RDDT. Jill says NVDA hitting almost 150. Yeah, very close. Sabine says MU is it time to take profits. Let's go to MU next, I think. Reddit, beautiful gap. Strong momentum in this one. Again, first resistance, we'll see what happens, but I think it probably ends up breaking. I don't know about today, but that's a good 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days consolidation, gapping above all of that. Yeah, let's move Reddit higher. Even though the resistance is kind of coming in on this one fairly close, that's well, you still got 153.80. That might be a gap and go. That might be a good high wave candle. Yesterday was a green candle. Maybe we get a high wave indecision, something like that. We could take some decent moves off of. Otherwise, look for your first spot of support somewhere around 148.98. So we'll call it 149. If we can get in at 149 and could ride it up to at least 153.56, that's about $4.50 of profit. If you get through that, your next spot 156.38. That one looks pretty impressive. MU is gapping down, so that one's doing a little something different. You do have a good volume zone right around this 127.25. It's up to you how you are in this trade. So I don't know if you got in this one, Sabine, as a swing trade, if it's a long-term hold. I do have some shares at 80, so I'm gonna obviously hold that one, but it might be a smart decision to either lighten some positions after all this move, take a little gain, or sell some covered calls against this position. But you do have a little bit of volume here. The next move, if you could break out, would take you to about 130.80. Strong move though. Just really no pullbacks, no retests. It is doing a gap down today, still inside day candle, so I don't think people are really panicking too much. But with the market trying to push a little higher, and you got something different happening. And that might be also, keep in mind, earnings coming out June 25th. Is that today? That is today after the bell. I'm not going to play it through earnings. That is the strongest move ever. They have had good earnings and have notably sold off after earnings. Maybe a good spot just to take your gains, or leave a little piece on some shares on if you want to carry it through earnings. But earnings tonight after the bell on MU, and that is a scary one for bulls after that type of move that we've already had. So earnings have been very good for MU historically. I don't think they did miss back in what day is this? March and December. So they had 2 quarters they missed. The rest have been good, but as you can see, usually you get the earnings out and they kind of dip on that. That is the morning bell already. How is that possible? Crazy. But everybody on YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button if you've not done so already. Other than that, you guys are incredible. Be safe, and I'll catch you guys.